All right, so this is what I'm doing here. It's Friday, November 18th, and I've got a 211 code on the continuous memory. Yeah, I pull a 211 code on the continuous memory scanner for this motor. So I did a little research. There's a few items I saw in there having to do with the distributor, the stator, and some other pickup thing. I've had stator problems before, and that's these little pieces inside the distributor, and instead of just replacing those parts, I just got to rebuild the distributor. So that's what I did this time. Motocraft on there, $75. I mean, why not just get a new one or rebuilt, drop it right in, and slam bang. Hopefully that takes care of the problem, right? Right. So that's what I'm doing. I also got I had to get a timing light just to check the timing. I used to have a really good one. I lent it to somebody and they never brought it back. I don't remember who. I got an idea, but so I got a cheap one from Harbor Freight. It was like $22. The factory timing on this is 10 degrees below top dead center, and I could have swore years ago I bumped the timing up and it gave it a little more power. You know, it was a lot quicker on the takeoff. And that was years ago. It's been to the smog inspection place about 3 or 4 times, 5 times. I'm wondering if any of these guys messed with the timing. Because it's at 10 right now, and it was bumped up before. So maybe they set the timing and didn't tell me about it. I'm gonna do that too. Once I get this done, hopefully it'll run 100% better. Because it does feel big and heavy and slow. Before I put this in, I'm going to put this cap back on. Okay, this is part of the distributor housing, I think it's called. And so where does it go, George? Just go like that, and just go like that. It can only go on one way because one side is square, where we at? Right there. And that side is round. So the same thing on your cap, square and round. And then it just takes 2 screws in there. Now, for some reason, my Shilton's manual has 2 different ways to install these. One for carbureted, one for fuel injected. The paperwork that comes with this is pretty basic. It says take the old one out, put the old one back in, just the same as the new one. Install it in the same position as the old one. Otherwise, you got to go and retime the whole engine. So follow instructions carefully. I've got some marks in here, like a little red mark on there. That's where the rotor, here's my rotor right here, is going to be pointing when I put it all in. See that rotor? See the rotor? This should be like that. That should be like that when I drop it in, and then let me take that rotor out just for demonstration purposes here. When you put this in, if you notice the gears there, they're at the bevel, they're at an angle. So when it slides in, the rotor is going to turn a little as you drop it down. Whoop, you know, because it's going to like screw in. Get it? So I have a mark on the distributor housing, that plastic piece that screws on there. This has to line up with that. So, and then the distributor itself, this thing has to line up. That's easy. Once this is set, this thing will turn either way, but you want it close to where you started from, right? So you can get this end straight, but when you slide it down, it's going to want to spin because of the bevel on this gear. You know, it's going to want to like screw in. Shoot. So it's going to give it a little turn. So I had to do it 2 or 3 times to get it right because it wasn't pointing in the right direction. Take it back out, move it around, drop it back down, and it'll twist as you drop it in. So you want it pointing at the mark on your distributor housing, and you also want the distributor in the right position, close. After that, it's adjustable. That's why it's got timing marks, but you want it close to where you started from. All right, now, so if I did everything right, it should start right up with only needing a little bit of adjustment. Okay. I then have to start up and let it warm up. Well, are we having fun yet? All right, so got the ignition control module out, and list price for this was $103. Yeah, $103 at the Ford dealer is their list price. They sold it to me for $89, so hopefully I got the right one. Sun's awfully bright, but yeah, there's the new one. Here's the old one. It's mounted to this heat sink. Let's see here. Yeah. Sun's killing me. It's mounted to this heat sink, so you got to detach from the heat sink with a little tiny screw, right there. Hopefully it's metric. So let me dig through my stuff, and maybe I got a tiny ass socket to fit in there. Tiny ass. All right, so this is getting a little frustrating, so I had to go back to the hardware, to a store. And since Harbor Freight didn't have the thing I needed, I ended up going to O'Reilly's, and I had to buy a whole set of these sockets. $23, and all I really need is a 5mm just like that to get into these little screwy things there. But yeah, look at that nice cut I got. Isn't that nice? That was from ripping open the package there in the store to make sure that this socket was going to fit inside the holes. So that was the issue I had with that nut driver kit I bought. They were too thick and wouldn't fit inside the hole. Anyway, it's a 5mm. You know what I say? What can go wrong will go wrong. Hey, this one says assembled in Hong Kong. Oh, figures, look, it's not a motocraft. See, that's not a motocraft. Assembled in Hong Kong. Majority content made in USA, so we'll find out. Let's see. So what you got to do, so in order for this thing to work correctly, or actually for this thing to work correctly, for the heat sink to work correctly, it's got to be able to transfer heat from here onto there. You should get some of this stuff. This is used in computers. It's a thermal conducting paste, thermal compound. Lucky for me, I've got some. I had some in my computer junk. Left over from the last time I did a computer build. So you just spread it on there like grease. That's what it's called, thermoconducting grease. Boy, I wish I had some more of it. And that's so it makes good contact with the heat sink. Yeah. Snug it up, don't over tighten. Some people got a habit of putting everything way too tight. They're only little tiny bolts. I mean, tiny, tiny, tiny. All right, so that's all in there. It gets a plug, 2 bolts, and then I'll have to reconnect the battery and then run it and let it reset the engine control settings, whatever you call it. All right, got the new engine control module installed, took it for a drive, just come back and now check the codes. Codes are all now cleared. No more trouble codes. So, let that be a lesson to you. If you got to replace these, don't get the cheap one from the discount auto parts store. You know, made in Hong Kong. Get the Motocraft. Go to the Ford dealer. Might be a little more expensive, but at least you're getting the right part. It's going to last you a few years. This one was replaced some years ago. And this is the original one. So this is the one I just replaced right now. With another Ford Motocraft. Not gonna take any chances this time. I'm gonna hang on to these though. Now I got 3 of them, 2 black ones and a gray one. Might come in handy in an emergency. Sun's going down and it's only 3:53. But it's getting cold out here already, so I think that's all I'm going to do for today.